Oh, hello and welcome to this live stream. Today we'll be talking about succession, okay? How to file succession in Kenya, what to do, and some of the questions that I've gotten a lot about succession. I will share that with you at the end. So I'll start with how to file for succession. So when someone passes away, you need to file a succession for you to deal with their property. If you start selling somebody's property when they passed away, or you start interfering with it without authority from the court, that's illegal and it's called intermeddling. And you can be arrested for that, in fact. So you need to get the authority from the court, and the way to do that is with succession. If you think of legal theory, the estate of a deceased person vests in the court until you get succession, right? You do succession. So how you do succession is, first of all, you get the death certificate. After you have the death notification and you've applied for the death certificate, you take that death certificate, you gather all the beneficiaries, which means the wife of the deceased person, the children, and any other dependents, but mainly wife and children. The other dependents, such as adopted children or siblings or uncles or whoever, have to prove that they are being taken care of by the deceased person. So the main beneficiaries are who? The wife or the husband and the children. So you list all these people down, go to the chief, carry their IDs, and get a chief's letter. So after you get the chief's letter, then you can apply for succession. With these documents, you also need to gather all the assets of the deceased. Somebody was asking me what assets are part of the deceased estate, because they're wondering, is a pension part of the estate of the deceased? The answer is no, because a pension is under another area of law, which is insurance and all that. So there's a nominee that happens there. So it's not under succession, okay? There's another tribunal that deals with the pensions, right? So the assets of a deceased person are as follows: land and real estate, those are assets of the deceased person; bank accounts, shares and stocks, motor vehicles, and personal and household effects. So these are the things that will fall under succession. If there are other things such as insurance that have come up, then it doesn't form part of succession. So when you have all these things, you have to decide, are these things more than 20 million? If they're more than 20 million, you go to the High Court. If they're less than 20 million, you go to the Chief Magistrate's Court. Okay, these are important because jurisdiction of the court is a very serious thing. It's a very solemn thing. It's like how you wouldn't go to church and start doing Buddhist ceremonies, or you wouldn't go to the mosque and start doing Holy Communion. Every single court has the kind of matters it deals with. So if you bring it to the wrong place, that is enough reason for your case to be thrown out. Okay? So after you do the you have the assets and the liabilities, you're ready to file the succession. Now, here's something that people again have a lot of questions about. If you bought property from the deceased but never transferred, does that mean that you have to wait for succession to be over, or you're not going to get your property? So these are the people we call creditors of the estate. They can come in as creditors, the people who bought from the deceased. You have to make sure you are paying attention when this matter is gazetted, so that you get included as a creditor of the estate. But if you bought after the person passed away, you bought from a beneficiary, then that sale is not valid. You have to wait until succession is done for you to get your property from this beneficiary if they decide to give you. Because the court will not disinherit beneficiaries because of one person's mistake. And you should have known, you should have done your due diligence to find out whether this property could have been sold by that person. So when you have all these documents, you're ready to file the succession. It's a petition. So your advocate will file for you. You do it online, right? You file it in the court also where it's next to your person. If you have any questions, guys, you just put them in the comment section. I'll get to them, right? So if you want to file succession, let's say the person passed away in Murang'a, you'll go to the Murang'a law courts. If the person passed away in Ruiru, you'll file them in the Ruiru law court. So again, where the person passed away and where they used to live is very important. It will determine which court you will file. If you have any questions, again, put them in the comments, guys. And so, okay, filing the succession. After we file the succession and everything is okay, the court will gazette this succession. Okay, so if you see the name of a deceased person in the Kenya Gazette for 30 days, know that the family is carrying out succession and the court is giving a chance for anyone to object. If you don't agree with the succession, if maybe you're a purchaser, you're a creditor of the estate, and the thing is going on and you didn't know, you'll see it in the Kenya Gazette. This is for everybody to know and to announce the death of this person and the succession is going on. So this will take 1 month, you said 30 days. Let me see if there are any questions. So you petition, 30 days it's put up, right? You take it to court. After 30 days, you come to court and a grant is issued. This is the first grant. You can think of it as an interim grant where the administrators have been decided. This and this person are going to administer the estate. For now, they can't distribute yet, right? They only have the power to gather the estate and preserve it. Another thing is there's a difference between a limited grant and a full-on grant. So this grant is like the precursor to the confirmed grant, but a limited grant, maybe you have something specific you want to do, then you will apply separately using a limited grant to do that something. For example, pay school fees for a beneficiary who's a minor. For example, sell a car that is depreciating. For example, all these things can be done by a limited grant. But this grant that has come out after 30 days is the grant that will later be confirmed. So you better be careful about who you're going to put as your administrators. Another question I got is, can you add administrators after this grant is already issued? The answer is yes. You can apply for a review of grant. You want to add administrators, give your reasons, make that applications, make that summons, and make your case to the court. They may either agree with you or refuse. But if there's someone in the estate, there always has to be 2 administrators. So after that, now it's time for confirmation. After 6 months, after this grant comes out, you have 6 months to confirm the grant. This is again to put time to protest. Anyone who has an issue about this confirmation of grant can come and protest. Okay, challenge it. I don't like who the administrator, I don't like what's going on, people have been left out, there's some issues, bring it up at that point. Sometimes they even put property that belongs to another person. Maybe the deceased sold that property and the beneficiaries didn't know. So you can come in and protest quickly before the confirmation is done, okay? Because things get more complex if the confirmation is done. So after the 6 months now, we do another application. It's called the summons for confirmation of grant, where all the beneficiaries are needed. They need to come to court and consent. All of you need to be present. We can't leave any beneficiaries behind. As long as somebody was listed there, they need to show up. Of course, there are exceptional circumstances. Maybe somebody's sick, maybe like they're really unwell or something. Either they can do partial confirmation and then give another date to do the confirmation when those other beneficiaries are there, or like if it's really this person is incapacitated, then it will proceed without them. But this is very rare. So, but you have to explain it to the court again. So when this grant is confirmed, that's when you can distribute the estate according to the schedule that you put in that application for confirmation of grant, right? You cannot just distribute the estate the way you want. No, you've already given to the court, this is how we are distributing, and you've gone to court and said, we've all agreed, this is how the estate is going to be distributed. And now when the confirmation of grant is out, you can go with it to the bank, and the bank will release the money. You can go with it to lands and do the transfers and the subdivisions and whatever you want to do. That is after the confirmation has been done. So if you have any questions, you can just put them in the comments. So any questions about succession, just put them in the comments. And I will answer them, because a lot of people were asking questions in the succession and they didn't get any answers. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Okay, so here's the questions that I got in my comment sections about succession, and I'll answer them. So number 1, what if in the final stages, days before the confirmation of grant, you don't think it's fair and you want to contest? The answer is go as soon as possible. Even on the date for confirmation of grant, you can protest. The court has put that time for you to protest. So go quickly and protest. Don't wait until the confirmation is done and then you start bringing issues. It will cost you more money, it will cost you more time, and it will be more complex. So if you have an issue before confirmation, go and put in your protest, and it can't be confirmed until we've dealt with those issues, right? So that's 6 months. Even on that day, you can put in a process as long as you're a beneficiary and you have standing in court. If you're a stranger to the court, obviously you cannot be going there and slowing down the process. But if you're a beneficiary and you have an issue, go to court, protest, the court will listen to you, okay? And then number 2, do pension funds go through succession? What really goes through succession? Okay, so pension funds don't really go through succession, especially if this pension is for like somebody who's working in the private industry. So it doesn't count as succession. Anything insurance, pension, and even SACCO and cooperative shares should not be part of succession, especially if there has been a nominee. So you'll see like life insurance, it goes directly to the nominee, and this nominee can be anyone. Whoever you put as a nominee will get that money, right? So it's outside the scope of succession. The things that are under succession are the assets of the estate, such as land, their vehicle, their household goods, shares and stocks, and bank accounts. Anything in the bank is under succession. I look through it when I find it, but it talks a lot about what actually falls under the ambit of succession. So there is like the retirement benefits, appeals tribunals, those other courts deal with those issues. Succession, think land, think cars, think money, okay? Money on hand, not insurance policies. And then, oh, that's another thing again. If you're thinking about succession and you're like, there are some of these family members who will like, you don't know whether they'll be protected. Maybe other people will come and interfere with the succession, or they won't get the justice you want. You can go under insurance. We've had a client, this lady. What she did was like, she was having challenges with her partner, her husband. So he, I believe, had married another person. So she didn't know whether if she passed away, that the succession would go like the way she wanted and her kids would be protected. So what she did was she had life insurance, and the nominee under the insurance was the sister. So she passed away and she had a lot of money, and it was given directly to the sister. So the husband was trying to challenge that, saying that, you know, this is succession, but no, it couldn't work because insurance is not succession. Insurance policies are not succession, right? So the sister was able to get that money on behalf and in trust for the children. And education policies, things like that. You can plan legacy outside of succession. And also there is wills. If you make a will, then how you distribute the estate is you have control over it, rather than intestate, where the court will decide the way it sees fit, which can be sharing equally between all the beneficiaries. Sometimes hold on, I'm seeing a lot of messages here. So if you happen to buy a property and succession was not done, does that mean that you lose that property? The answer is maybe, yes or no. Legally, you can. If somebody in that estate says that they want this property, my father said I should get it, blah blah blah, this person sold illegally, then you might lose that property, but you can get your money back, okay? If you followed the law and you wrote an agreement and they received money or something, even though the agreement isn't technically valid, you can get your money back. As for getting the property, if you're dealing with a simple case, okay, these people are not greedy and they're not here to get your money, then they can be honest and give you the succession. I've seen a client, what he was doing was he was the one who was taking care of the succession. So whenever a step happened, okay, let's say the confirmation of grant happened, he'd make a deposit to the property. Let's say the date for confirmation was issued, he'd make another deposit. So finally when the grant came out, he finished the payment and the transfer was done. So you can, but it's risky. All I'm going to say is it's risky, it's not legally protected. So as long as you know these people through and through, and you know you're not going to be conned, you can try, but it's illegal, okay? You're not supposed to sell the estate of a deceased person without the authority to do so. I think I made a mistake putting this phone like this. Okay, the next question is, what if we know a property from an administrator with a limited grant? There is one thing we always put on limited grants, and this is it. Okay, limited grants does not give the administrator power to distribute the estate. a limited grant does not give the person applying for it power to distribute the estate. Any beneficiary can apply for a limited grant. Limited grants are these ones. There's the ad colligenda, which means to gather. It gathers the estate. Those things that you're saying are depreciating. Maybe this car is going to depreciate by the time the succession is done. So you go for ad colligenda. Maybe they have or a special grant, I mean. Maybe they have a farm and the animals need to be, taken care of, right? If somebody doesn't take care of them, sell them, they're going to perish. Maybe there is maize in the field, These are the things that are perishable that you need to gather. Another thing is rent. You can gather the rents and the things that are gathering money in a central account to make sure that this money doesn't get lost, So you can get a limited grant for that purpose, right? Another purpose is maybe if there's a beneficiary who's unwell, and with the consent of all the beneficiaries, we get money from the account for this purpose before succession is done, just to treat this person. Maybe you need money to actually administer, to do the succession, so you apply for it, okay, for a special limited grant for the purposes of getting a specific amount of money, maybe 1 million, it's in this account. We need it to do succession. The court can give you that limited grant. So it's possible. But selling a property with a limited grant, unless you read that grant and it said, sell this specific property to retrieve money for this purpose. If that grant didn't say anything like that, then they've done it illegally. So make sure you read that grant and take it before an advocate, because a lot of people have a lot of stories. They'll tell you, oh, I have a grant, look, and it's not a grant for that purpose. It was a limited grant to go and get 100K to pay school fees, and they're lying to you that they are an administrator. That's not how it works, okay? Limited grants have the very specific purpose written on that grant, so you can read it and confirm. If it says this property, blah, 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 should be sold to get money to pay for this minor's school fees, okay. But if it doesn't say that, be very careful. They're not allowed to distribute with a limited grant, okay? So number 5, what if some beneficiaries don't show up to court for confirmation, okay? This happens a lot. Number 1, we can do partial confirmations. With the ones that are there that day, we can confirm, and then the next time we go to court, the ones who aren't there can come also. Maybe they had an emergency, maybe there was something going on. That can happen. But mostly, all of them have to be there. All of them who are in that grant, they have to be there, whether it's online or whatever. These people are online. Even they're abroad, they're in America, they're in the UK, they are confirming grants online. So they need to read the ID and say, okay, this is the number. If you have any questions, please put your questions on the messages. I'm trying to read them. Let me see. Next question, how long does succession take? Minimum 8 months. I say this because by the time you bring us all the documents, and then that 1 month, remember the 1 month is gazetted, and then the 6 months for confirmation, that's already 7 months. So let's say 8 months. But here's the exception. If you guys are a united family, you can apply to the court to have it confirmed before 6 months. You bring in a consent, you make an application, and it's confirmed before 6 months. We've done that before. So it can take even 4 months because you guys are agreeing. The problem is when you're not agreeing. So you can have it confirmed before 6 months. That's very possible. But typically, it will take about 8 months. Even longer if there are lots of applications, lots of issues. But if it's a simple succession, we can do it as quick as possible, as long as all the beneficiaries are in agreement. Okay? For example, there was one estate. It was a young man. He had one property, and he only had one uncle, one beneficiary. That thing happened very quickly because there was no one to challenge. It's just the uncle. He has no other relatives, and so he got the property in like 3 months. Okay. Yes, I think I'm done with all my questions. So if you have any other questions, you can DM me. You can email the email I'll put below. If you want to make a consultation, and consultations are charged, you can come to our offices also. It's in Ruiru town. So for consultations, either DM me or send me some messages. You can also send your questions in the comment section. So I don't see any questions, so I'm going to stop the live here. So I hope you have a good day. Bye.